Hey everyone, my name is Dalree.
And I'm Turtle, and thanks for joining us as we go beyond church.
So before we get into today's episode, I just want to thank each and every one of our subscribers for getting us to 500 subscribers, and it is our 1 year anniversary this month.
Yay.
So it is a year since we started the channel, and I could not have imagined that we'd get to past 20 subscribers. So I am really grateful. We do not take it for granted. We were talking the other day actually about how there is no such thing as a small channel, because really when you think about it, even if you have 5 subscribers, that means it's a room full of 5 people that you get to influence and who stay here listening to you and support you. And so I think that in the popular culture that we live in and the immediate gratification that we want, we take for granted who God has put under us and over us as well in terms of authority. So yes, grateful, thank you. Stay tuned till the end because we will have a little giveaway if you are interested. And if you are new to this channel, welcome. On Beyond Church, I share my experiences, my journey, in the hopes that it will ignite your faith and encourage you to discover God more. So in today's video, we are ending off the Single and Secure series by sharing honestly how the two of us are experiencing the single season. Now, if you don't already know, this is my brother and we live together and we are both extremely single.
Single AF.
And we did not want to end off the series letting people think that singleness is all butterflies and roses, but also ending it off with making people think that it is the worst time of your life. So yeah, we're going to be sharing 5 points on how we experience the singleness season. And please comment down below if you have something to add, because we would love to hear from you. Okay, let's get right into it.
Okay, so for our first point today, we're actually discussing a point that I feel is the most important point in being single. And that is that it feels really lonely. Like lonely to the point where you're just like sad, bro. But honestly, I believe strongly that that's the only reason we feel so lonely while we're single is because of social media. Yeah, social media plays a big part of everything that we have today. But because people glamorize being in a relationship so much, it kind of takes away that feeling of I'm good on my own, you know what I mean? And I also feel like just doing things on your own has been considered like, it's like taboo. You can't go out and do something on your own because you look weird, you're the weird person, you're that person out there on their own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that gives you like this, it makes you feel down, ain't like, it puts you to the point where you feel like you need to be in something just for being with someone, which is the worst time or the worst reason you can actually get into a relationship, you know? So the loneliness comes just because I think people feel like they're not secure with themselves enough to be on their own, you know? Like, I don't know, yeah.
And sometimes sometimes we confuse our boredom with loneliness, because it gets pretty boring. Like, just to give a bit of context for our setup, like my brother's gone all day, every day, because he works out and I work in from home. And then even when he gets home, sometimes he gets home very late. And so we've just been like, I have no contact with people other than my friends and stuff like that. And even then, during the week, we don't talk all that much because we're all very busy. And then out of work, you just feel like you're extremely bored. You don't have someone to chat to. You don't have someone to check up on you. And we think that feeling makes you feel more entertained or like more full or more like
it gives you
comfort,
more life, basically. Although we do have friends that we talk to like all the time. It's just not the same as having that one person that you'd like to talk to all the time, you know?
Because then we use it as an excuse to settle. We settle for maybe someone who doesn't check all of the boxes that we want in a person. Or we find ourselves as, maybe if you're a Christian and you really want to date another Christian, you'll just settle for someone that's a non-believer because they tick every box except the Jesus box. So you're like, well,
might as well just enjoy.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. And our second point is that when you are single, you give your spirit chance to grow stronger, to die to your flesh. So if you're like me, I'm celibate in my journey right now, and I intend to wait until I'm married to be sexually active. And so my singleness season is helping me to grow even stronger and to put my roots deeper down in my desire to remain celibate. And so how that looks for me is that my spirit is just growing stronger and stronger and stronger. Whereas if I were in a relationship, sometimes my fleshly desires, they rise strong, and then it's way more tempting to be.
yeah, I 100% agree. I just feel like being single and being, for me as a gent, I would say being single and being in a relationship does not dampen or does not change your fleshly desires or like any worldly desires that you have. I just think that it becomes a bit easier when you are single to focus on your specific on your goal, or like your faith, or like, you know what I mean, trying to strengthen your actual relationship with God and your or in your relationship, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like fleshly desires will always be there, whether you're single or not, and there will always be temptations with it, whether you are in a relationship with someone or you're single, because there are different temptations for different times, you know. But yeah, so it will always be there, and you just have to be strong enough to know that if you are working towards a certain goal, there are things that you can't do, and you need that discipline, you know?
Yeah, but that's exactly, and you're exactly right. So I don't think we're saying, I think we're actually kind of saying the same thing, in a sense where the fleshly desires will always be there. But your single season gives you chance to become stronger in the spirit.
No, but
if your goal is to be celibate,
yeah,
you become stronger in the spirit, so that when you finally get into a relationship, you don't give in to your fleshly desires.
But I think that even though I hear what you're saying, but even though you say that being single makes it easier, I don't think so. Like, I definitely don't think so, because being in a relationship, if you are in a relationship with someone who has the same goals as you, or who is goal driven like you are and wants you to succeed with your goals, they would eventually end up helping you. Then you'd be much easier than when you are single. You get me?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So I definitely don't agree with that. I really think that
yeah.
being in a relationship sometimes betters you in certain aspects, because being single, you have this mindset of, I'm carefree, I'm on my own. No one else is responsible for me. I can do what I want, you know?
Yeah.
So it kind of makes it a bit more difficult for you to stay in check, because no one's checking up on you. You check up on yourself. So, you know?
So then I guess that's why this is important, because that's our separate experiences.
Yes.
Like, and I think driving to that point that you just said, that's why it is important to, when you do choose who you want to date, to date someone with the same values as you, so that they can help you.
Yeah, they uplift you. They're not bringing you down when you are trying to achieve something. Yeah.
I think it's actually in 1 Corinthians 7 where Paul speaks about, let me just see if I have it here in my Bible quickly, where he speaks about this, which I think is really cool. He says, it's 1 Corinthians 7. He says, now regarding the questions you asked in your letter, yes, it is good to live a celibate life, but because there is so much sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman should have her own husband. The husband should fulfill his wife's sexual needs, and the wife should fulfill her husband's sexual needs. The wife gives authority over her body to her husband, and the husband gives authority over his body to his wife. And while there's a lot more here, because it speaks about do not deprive each other of sexual relations unless you both agree to refrain from sexual intimacy and so forth. And this can be unpacked, and it's not fully the point we're trying to drive, because there's a lot of meat in that particular point. But I think what Paul is saying in the very beginning is that if you know you are single and you've got fleshly desires, it's better to get married.
Yeah.
Although don't get married just
that's not what we're saying.
That's not what we're saying.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yes, but I think he recognizes the challenge of fleshly desires in your singleness.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and so he says, if you're called to marriage, wait on God's time, pray about it so that you can get married, and then fulfill that need.
Desires,
Kaale at your boy, aka Nelly.
Guys, I just had some time from shooting a music video with Kaale. It's called Dilemma. Check it out. So, guys, moving on to our third point. This is a very great point. I like to just back this point up completely. I feel like being single is mad fun. Like, yo, it's crazy fun.
It is real fun.
Just in terms of like being on your own and having time to yourself. Like, I don't know about you guys, I'm a really dope gent. Like, I'm a really cool person, and spending time with myself is like the best thing I do for myself. You know, it allows me to kind of get to know myself so much better and so well, to the point of when anything that I don't like comes into my space, I can immediately cancel it out. You know what I mean?
And
like I can recognize it and be like, nah, that's not for me. You know what I mean? So that's like it's the best part about being single. And especially like, dude, if you're with your friends and you guys are just like, you go out for dinner or something, there are people on their phones like talking to other people while they're busy with people. You know what I mean? Like sometimes your time is not your time. Like you don't have time to yourself at all. And I think that as the youth, we really need time to ourselves, because people are too busy with other people, like confusing themselves. You know what I mean? And this is like really giving people a really hard time in trying to find relationships, you know? So that's why when people eventually get to relationships, it's not the best time for them, because they definitely don't know themselves at all, I think. Right.
120%, 1000% agreed. I don't even feel like I need to add anything onto that, because I agree with all of
completely.
that.
Like, yeah, dude,
it is thebomb.com.
Away.
Okay, so our fourth point and second final point is that when you are single, sometimes you experience people who are in relationships and they just make you feel like being single is the worst thing ever. And so they kind of drive you
into a relationship.
Exactly. Yeah, they drive you into a relationship and they make you feel like, rather, if you aren't strong inside of yourself and secure in your situation and happy and realize that it's also a blessing to be single, you will find yourself being driven into a relationship because of the way they view being single.
And one thing is that we're blessed enough to have friends that like they don't make us feel like this at all. Like, you know, our friends are very supportive over everything that we do. But we have experienced people, even married couples, like who pity people who are single. And feel like they've won the race, or they've won the challenge.
They've won life.
Like they've won life. You know?
Like that is the end goal of life
for everyone, which is not the truth. It's the furthest thing from the truth, you know. Like, if you are single, it's okay. Like you don't need to rush into something just because these people are in it. Now they make you feel like you're doing something wrong in life because you're not at that point yet. We all have like seasons in our lives, and we have times for things to happen for us. You know, if it's not your time, it's going to be very detrimental getting into something just because other people are making you feel out. You know.
100%.
You're not trying to run with the crowd. Be you.
I think I should have him on this channel more often, because he just takes over every point and he nails it every time.
Apparently. Not even. And getting to our final point, guys, which is sad, I know, but all good things must come to an end. You know? But this point is actually quite a deep one. Just thinking about it, like being single most days, you're content with, like they're okay, but then there are other days that are really hard. Like being single is not easy at all, you know. It's a lot of hard work. There was a point that you made now, you spoke about Michael Todd, that guy that you watch. I don't know if you guys know Michael Todd. So where he was saying that when it comes to men, sometimes like not getting affirmations from our dads sometimes causes you to pick the wrong partner because you have this desire to be loved, you know, because you never got this from your dad telling you that he's proud of you, or that this has happened, or that this has gone on, or that this, you've done a great job in this, you know, for things that actually matter. Yeah, sports were great, but like that poem that you wrote, you know, or like the drawing you made, or certain things like that, you know, that also kind of gets to you. And if you don't take time to discover why you do certain things, you're gonna go into something and it's gonna be very, very, how can I say it? It's gonna be very, it's gonna be
toxic.
Yeah, it's gonna be super toxic actually.
Because you don't really know what makes you mad.
Exactly. So you just get upset for reasons, like unknown reasons. Yeah.
You have a hot temper and you don't know why.
Why do I get angry about unnecessary things, like little things, or you know, or small things that you do every year and there.
Yeah, 100%. I think, and also like for women, like you know, we often speak about daddy issues as if it's just confined to women, but men, like you said, they experience it a lot. And as a woman with your mom, you know, you just seek to get, I guess, even her approval that you are womaning correctly. You know, that you're growing up as a young lady or a young girl correctly, or not correctly, but in a way that she's proud of. And that you don't need to go and find a man to tell you
that you are a great woman.
Right. And so I think that these are things that and of course we're not saying this is our parents, but I'm saying that the point that I guess you're driving is that
certain things from your past, the traumas that you have gone through, not even traumas, just things that you lack or that weren't given to you, do affect you, and without you being with yourself, you will never discover these things.
So that alone time, the self-discovery, the self-work, the introspective work, it's hard work.
It is.
And on days when you are content, it's great, but on other days, those days get harder.
They attack you like proper.
But if you see yourself through it, like if you fight through it and you work through it and you do the deep work and you do the soul searching, you come out being so much wholer. You're able to love better. You're able to be kinder.
And everything's so much easier. Like you do it in an easy way. Like loving someone is easy.
It's easy.
Being like there
fresh.
For someone is easy.
It's crisp.
Like it's
and it's worth it.
Exactly.
It's so much more worth it to go through this singleness phase and be and go through this hard work and come out being someone that is whole and allowing God to really allow you to discover yourself and see yourself the way He sees you, so that you can be valuable in your relationship, not because of what you think you bring, but because of who God says you are.
And who you've become. Well, guys, we have come to the end of our episode, which is, as you know, the end of the series of Single and Secure. I'd just like to say thank you for having me. It's been like an absolute pleasure. I know I've taken over, but your boy had to.
So we would like to end off this by giving away this really awesome devotional book to one lucky subscriber. It is a devotional book by my good friend Vanessa Mpatlanyane, which is Beyond the Fires is really a devotional that has been impactful to my personal devotional time. So that's why I'd love to share it with you. If you would like to get this resource, firstly, subscribe to the channel. Secondly, leave a comment below and let us know how this channel has been impactful to you. And then lastly, head over to Instagram because we will be announcing the winner there.
Yep, soon. So
really soon.
An eye out.
And then thanks again to my brother for joining us. And until next time, goodbye.
Cheers, guys.